Hello everybody, welcome back to Frostpunk, a new home, hard noble campaign. This is Thotimic speaking, and we're going to have some exciting new things happen today. Of course, we've got the cold snap coming on. Before I continue though, I want to take a look at our hunters, because you can see you have to usually take 12 hours. They've been around for about 11. They'll return with up to 13 raw food. It pretty much is usually exactly 13. And see, they've got a little bit longer. So there's some variation in when they depart. Depends on how long it takes the people to get there. They have a prepare for the hunt job, and then they go out. So just wanted to see that real quick. Of course, our main order of business here is just to move on to 7 o'clock. Luke Haddon, I've got to hold on. People are depending on me. Sometimes I wonder what the purpose of our struggle is, says Rudolph Boas. So those are interesting, just like reading those when we're moving on. And they will say different things depending on, it's pretty repetitive, but they do have some different comments depending on what's going on in the city. Alright, so here we are. It's 7 o'clock, and we want to leave. The hunters are back. See them. You can see the food's in here. We've got 26 raw food. We're down to just 20 rations. So even with this up all the way produced, we'd only have 72, which is less than we had yesterday. Again, 2 are not enough. But we don't want to pull these out yet before we start assigning people. Because again, we want to prioritize our labor, and most of these are going to be pretty hungry. They're going to want to go eat. So we want our priority tasks to be taken care of first. Now we've got our coal gathering post up here in the north. So we're not going to be sending out people just to do this anymore. They're going to gather up there. And it looks like we're going to be down to about 10 coal again at the start of the day, which means we again need about 134. Now, in the coal gathering post, they do it about twice as fast as they do gathering. So instead of getting about 1 coal an hour per person, they're going to get out 2 coal an hour per person, just slightly over. So that means that 7 will be enough, because that's going to be 143, I think it is, something like that. It's going to maintain essentially our small reserve, very small, but enough to be safe. So we're going to want 7 of them in there. Then we're going to want to start our research, and 5 engineers to fully staff any workshop. And if we look at our medical post, yes, there is indeed nobody in there. So that's going to be huge. We're going to have extra workers because we can just yank all our engineers out of there. So after coal, what's next most important? Well, for today, I want to really start ramping up our steel. Now, we're going to be able to gather some from over here, of course, but I'm going to want more than that. So I'm going to maximum output on the steel over here. I'll throw some engineers. Nope, let's just do 5 of them and then throw more workers on it. Nope, that's not what I wanted. That's back. Okay, let's try that again. Pull them all out. This is next most important, this gathering post. And again, the reason is gathering post is more efficient. So you want them to be there, and you want to get all workers in there that we can. And since we've got these extra engineers, I'm going to want to put some of them in here. So I want to reserve 5 engineers for that. So I'll just put 5 here and finish that out. Now, if I had any sick people, I wouldn't want to assign everybody yet, because sick people go last. But for now, I don't want to do that. So I can go ahead and put them in there. And now I want to take the workers out of the workers' huts. And I can assign them. So let's stick, again, our engineers over there in the cookhouse. And then we just want to max out everything else here. So that's there. We've got 23 people left. we can see we've got 19 wood there, 29 wood here. So this one didn't get done nearly as much as that one yesterday because of people leaving and whatnot. So we're going to want to put more people over on this one. So let's say we go with 9 and 14. There we go. So we're going to be trying to knock out these 2 piles is our goal. And you can see, like, if we would give way more than enough if they all just went there and went to work. But as we're going to see, that's not exactly what we're going to have happen. Nonetheless, all of our labor is assigned. We want to move on to 8 o'clock and get this workday rolling. They're all trucking around out there. See, they're following the street. Oh my goodness, what is this? We now have a technology tree. Yes, blather on about work. It gives us our resources because those are the 3 things we can potentially use for research. Now, the way this generally works is we can do everything across the top initially. Like, we have the capability of it. And then we have just the standard workshop, and we essentially have got investing in this is upgrading your workshop. It'll upgrade all the workshops that you have. You get a bonus for multiple workshops. We'll get into that. But it doesn't just upgrade one of these. Like all 4 of these tabs, you'll get access to this first tier once we do this. This is drawing boards. It requires 50 wood. We're not doing that yet. There are other things that we need. So the steam hub, additional smaller heat zones around them. Each one consumes 3 coal per hour. So if you want to heat an area that's not right by your generator, this gives you the ability to do that. It's essentially a mini steam generator. Heaters are a similar idea, but they only work in one building. 1 coal per hour when running. So this is 3 coal per hour, this is 1 coal per hour. The steam hub is the more efficient option because you can build more than 3 buildings around it. However, if you just want to heat something in one spot, then you want the heater would be the best. So that's sort of a strategic right now or, long-term thinking approach. And normally I would go with a long-term thinking approach, but I'll get back to this decision in a minute. Exploration and industry. We've got the beacon. You can send scouts to search the wilderness for goods and survivors and bring them to our city. Lookouts will also spot incoming groups of people. And to build the beacon, you can see quite a bit of steel and some wood. So this gives us the sense of moving outside of our city of New London and pushing into the frontier, seeing if we can find more people, resources, whatever, beyond our little crater. Resources, we've got faster gathering. Improves 15% speed of gathering the 3 primary resources, coal, steel, and wood. That would be huge for that. And it says whether using gathering posts or not. So, we could still take advantage of this since we're using the gathering posts. This would be really nice to get. The coal thumper essentially allows for infinite coal. You can pump pressurized water into underground coal deposits. You can build these anywhere. Washes it to the surface and can supply up to 2 gathering posts full time. It is kind of labor intensive though, because you've got to have the 2 gathering post staffs and you've got to staff the coal thumper itself. Then the sawmill turns the frozen trees into usable material, 60 wood per day. And the steel works, iron ore from deposits and up to 34 steel per day. So again, we have additional options to unlock new ways once our current piles run out. And we're going to definitely need to keep an eye on these resources because we're not going to last forever. And then food, health, and shelter, we've got the hunter's gear. Better snowshoes and enhanced camouflage. Hunters setting out from the hunter's hut will return with more raw food from each hunt, up to 18 per hunt instead of 13. So that's quite a significant gain. and we wouldn't have to do quite such a massive hunting operation if we had this. So there's nothing on this first tier that isn't obviously useful. But we're going to stick over here in heating because we pretty much have to. Tomorrow, the cold snap is coming. We're going to have problems if we don't. And what I'm going to pick here is I'm going to go with the heater, even though it's more of a short-term than long-term solution. And I'll explain why in a bit. But 10 wood to do this. And I've got to got 11 hours at 100% research rate, which means the workshops only operate. Pause this for a second. The workshops only operate when we're open, when during the workday, the 10-hour shift. So we can see it's 100% rate. That means it's going to take 11 hours, and today's workday is only 10. So this is not going to finish today. It'll be almost done, but it won't quite finish today. And we're open. We can take a look at. We're fully staffed here. We can see we're going to get 3.36 wood, basically, and 17 steel from these 10 people over the course of the day. We look up here at the coal. 143 coal is going to come in. So we're happy with all of that. We've got our cookhouse rolling, and they're going to quickly cook up those meals at 40 per hour and only 26 raw food. It's going to take like less than an hour and a half. And then over here, well, we got 5 people from the steel going to eat. We got 11 from this one going to eat, and all 9 of them going to eat. So that's where you can see the influence of the hunter labor coming in. Everybody else is pretty much willing to go to work right away, but the hunters, again, and I made it happen because I connived them into going out and hunting. I manipulated them to doing it. Well, now we pay the price for that. They're not going to work over here until they have gotten their food. And I could try, potentially, I don't know if I could get away with it, but I might be able to try to, I probably could manipulate them into going over here and eating or working again instead by doing the building thing. But eventually, if you keep stringing people along like that, they're going to get hungry, and then they're going to get more hungry. They're going to be in the starving mode. They're going to start eating raw food if you have any left. I mean, it's not worth doing. So as far as I'm concerned, it's more of a decision like telling them when in the day they're going to eat. I want them eating now at the start of the shift. I don't want them eating later when I want them to go hunting, because then the food supply dwindles again. So down to an hour or 2 of coal, of course, but then now it's going to go back up. And we're making those rations. And see, we've got a couple hungry people. Okay, and that's there. So now I'm going to pull these out, and those engineers can get reassigned. I'll put one of them here. That maxes that out. I'll put the rest of them over there. That's almost maxed out. Now, I don't actually want to just get time going again, but I don't actually want to just fast forward through this, because there's going to be some important things going on. Now, it's really, the steel isn't an issue. Everybody's going to get done eating. They're going to go there. I want to get as much steel as I can. This pile is not going to run out. But these 2 piles are low enough that they could potentially run out today. And hopefully they do. So once everybody is done eating, which will eventually happen, they're going to come in over here. And then I'm going to see where we're at and how many employees are actually going to be needed, workers are going to be needed to finish these off, or whether they're going to be finished off, how all that's going to work. You can see they're making this path here coming back in from hunting. And And they want to work at the wood crates, but they're going to eat first. Yep, and biggest concern is their hunger. Barnabas Bentink, that's a name. Oh, we've got a little something going on here. People from our convoy, family torn apart. Sir, a woman came forward after we built the workshop. She said that her husband and daughter didn't reach the city with the main group, but she's sure they're still out there. She wants to join the first scout team we'll send out. She urges you to hurry. Okay, well, we can't do any scouting yet. We've got to build the beacon for that. We're not even researching the beacon yet, so we will do what we can. And then Child Shelter, a note of thanks. We just wanted to thank you. Back in London, it was only the wealthy that didn't have to send their kids to work. In this new world you're creating, we can see things will be different. And hope rises slightly. It's the right thing to do, I say. Boom, there's our hope bonus. Okay. And by the way, on the heater choice, while these are filling up, you can see we're slowly getting more workers over here. On the heater choice, basically we had to choose a heating option, in my opinion, because this cookhouse is not going to be up to temp enough. Like, it's barely warm enough now. It's livable, which is fine, but then if it gets colder, it's, you know, when the cold front comes, people aren't going to be able to do that. It'll be too cold to operate the cookhouse, and we need to cook our food, so we had to find some way of heating it, and it was really the steam hub or the heaters. Well, the advantage... Oh, there's a new law. So we're going to pause that whole train of thought. And we've got our apprentices. We can't go any further this way. So the next one I want to deal with is over here. And we've got the corpse disposal. Basically, we build a snow pit. We dump them in there. And particularly disconcerting is bodies are preserved for potential future use. And we'd have to build a snow pit. We just have to place it somewhere. It doesn't cost us anything. But yeah, hope will fall, discontent will rise. No thank you, that's not for us. The other option is the cemetery. A burial ground so we can lay our dead to rest with dignity and respect. 18-hour timer. A new building, the cemetery. Hope rises slightly. There's no risk of disease from unburied bodies. Right now there is one. Until we have some way to deal with it. Each burial will keep some people from work for a few hours. Hopefully we won't have to deal with people dying much, but to the extent that we do. And we'll have to establish a cemetery. So I'm making the promise to do that. There can only be one, and it only costs 10 wood. So that's another very positive thing for our...
Everyone. New law is signed.
Yes, for our collective morale. And now we're maxed out over here, so I want to keep it paused. And we're only going to need to do 8, but we're producing 4.4 an hour. So what I want to do I could wait till later. I don't want to wait till later. I want to pull out the people that aren't necessary. So you can see 1800, we got 3.5 hours left. So we can afford to get down closer. And if I drop it anymore, I think it's going to be at 2.7, and that's not going to be quite enough. So I think that's how many people I need in here, is 9 to get it done in this period of time. Okay. And then over here, yeah, we've got a bunch of people still eating. And so until they're all done eating, I don't want to make any changes here. But I can't add any more people here, so what do I do with this extra labor? You know, what do I want the most? Is really what it boils down to. And 30 steel is plenty. I want more wood. Well, this is the only place I'm going to get it. Now, the gathering post is gathering from here, but I can still add workers to the piles. We can see that one's at 66. This is at 56. We'd evened them out a little bit. They're going to even them back out the other way. Let's see. I've got 4 people. I think for now, I'll just continue eating it this way. 1 and 3. And we can see, okay, that one's going to work, and those people are going to work. How about that? None of them need to eat or rest. So we're diverting them over here. The thing is, the longer that I wait before I pull them out of this building, this pile of crates, the more likely it is they're going to want to go eat before they go to work. So doing it sooner rather than later is beneficial. At least after death will be allowed to rest properly, says Helen Staple. Christopher Taylor. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, as it should be. So some positive comments on that. Whoop, I went a little bit farther than I wanted to, but this is done. Okay, they're 15, and we're getting 5.1 an hour. So it turns out that our maximum investment in this pile is actually going to be just enough, or maybe even not quite enough, to erase that. So I really don't have anything else to switch around. I've just got these few extra people over here, giving us that little bit of extra wood. And I think that's all I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to fast forward to the last hour of the workday. Oh, wood crates depleted. Well, that was faster than I thought. Okay, so now we've got 9 people. Stop it. I said stop it. I want the crates. Thank you. So we'll add some of them in there and some of them over here. So we can see 2 of them go into rest, or 3 go into rest, 2 go into eat. And 4 of these go into rest. And that's sort of what happens when you do it at the end of the workday. But such is life. This is going to be close. I think this one is actually not quite going to finish. But yeah, so there's one area that's totally complete. And you can see it's going to start filling in with snow now. And looking like everything else. Because there's nothing useful there anymore. Whoa, went just over time.
Go rest all who can.
How about that? We completed the wood job right at the end. I mean, that's like as perfect as it gets. And we can see over here we're down to 56 and 48. So these are both over half gone. And these are completely gone. We have already gathered 3/4, a little over 3/4 of the loose wood crates on the map. So we are gobbling through that quickly. Okay, so the end of the day, yeah, I didn't put anybody there. Let's remove everybody that's not in the medical post, and nobody's in the medical post. So let's get everybody out of their jobs. And we can see over here, this is almost gone. That's 9 out of the original 60 in that one. But over here, we've got most of that one left. Of course, we've got all of that one left. So we've still got, you know, well over half, maybe 60% or so of the steel. Still have lots of coal. It definitely is a situation where wood is what we're going to run out of first. Okay. So our first priority, as it was last night, is to manipulate all of our hunters, except for we've got a lot of them. There we go. So what are we going to build tonight? Well, we're going to start off with a cemetery. Usually people get really excited about going to build the cemetery. Yep, there's a bunch of people there. And let's see what it takes to cajole them. Nobody from there. But we did get a couple from down there, so we'll work it again. Eating 1-person building. That always just sort of annoys me because it's like I have to redo this because of 1 person. Eating, building again. Well, that's going to finish off the bottom. Yep. That's 2 hunters' huts fully ready. And they're eating, and so they're just going to sit there and wait for that. Okay. I also want to build a second workshop. Now, the way the workshops work as far as research goes, let's build it right next to this I'm not really sure if I'm in the right spot or not. Yep, right next to the other one. Now, the way the workshops work is you can build up to 4. Like the second one gives you increased productivity, efficiency of research, speeding things up. The third one is a little bit more. The fourth one just a tiny bit more. And then after that it's peaked and more workshops don't help you in any way. So let's see. Yep, they're all going to go build the workshop. There. Now we've got everybody in and we can just concentrate on what we're going to build. Okay, so there's that. This one's already on the street. I do need to build a street to connect up this workshop. Just a couple. Yeah, 3 wood there. Okay. And what else do we need? Well, the one other thing that I would like to do at this point is to continue working on our resources. Again, we've got plenty of coal up here, but a couple things to consider. One is that the more people that we have working in buildings, the better. And also, we're going to need more steel, eventually. So building out to here, we'll have even more coal coming in, which I don't really particularly need, but we can grab both these with the same one. We're going to get a gathering post out that way. And right there would be the limit of the, generator's range. Then I want to go one more up. And let's get our gathering post set. I'm not sure about the placement here, so just hang on a second. Okay, so that'd be the 3rd row. That would be the 4th row. Then that would be outside. Okay, there it is. That would be outside of it. And notice I can't get them both from here. So if I shift one spot that way, and of course you might say, well, why don't you shift over more? But I'm just going to put it here because before I need to worry about this territory over here too much, wanting to build with perfect spacing and all that, these are going to be gone. So that's where I wanted to be, and I actually think I might even needed to build that street out quite that far. Nope, I could have gotten away with it being one spot shorter, but I'm not concerned about that. It's 1 wood. I'm not going to lose anything over 1 wood. Although I haven't built it yet, so why don't I just take it off? Yep. Go and do that. There we go. So now that's perfectly positioned, and now I could try to do some other things. We've got one thing I might want to try to do is I could try to build another workshop. The problem with that is most of the time there's probably going to be sick people, which means I'd have to have 5 engineers here, 5 here, and 5 here, and I only have 15. So that would cover my whole supply. I'd only be able to run that 3rd workhouse, or I'm going to have to build it here, but the 3rd workshop, I'd only be able to run it when there's nobody sick, and that's probably not going to be most of the time. And then there's the idea of, well, I might need the resources for something else, whatever. I could put up another gathering post. I mean, I could put up another gathering post. But I don't need it yet. And at this point, since I don't have a huge amount of resources, I'd rather save them for things that I really need. So that's where we're going to go with that. Construction is done. Let's move forward our time frame. And it's also worth thinking about. I mean, we've only got the 20 employees. we've got the 15 engineers and just the 5 workers that aren't going out on the hunt here. As everybody gets going here, and you see that they just left from this one. You see what the workers are doing here. Yep, they're all going to hunt. What about here? See, now they're doing the preparing for a hunt thing. But we don't have, and I'm going to speed this up, we only have 20 workers. So it's also a case of, we've set them out a few things to build. That's going to be enough for tonight. They are going to have to eventually come back and sleep. They're not going to be able to do this all night. So, and of course, you always want to watch like your Book of Laws cool down, and this is we're at 90%. Didn't quite get that research done. And what if anybody gets sick? Particularly since I don't have anybody in there to automatically take care of it. And there's our cemetery established. Now we can put our dead to rest, and hope rises a little more. So that's nice. And now we're going to see if anybody's going to get sick overnight. So far, so good on that. Looks like it's not going to happen. Well done, 2 nights in a row. Although sometimes by this point, I've taken care of all that problem. But usually the second night I do have. Okay. So there, we are sitting at the next day. And of course the big news is going to be the freeze. What are we going to do about that? You see our food rations? There's not much left. They're dwindling. Need those hunters to come back. And we'll take another top side view. We expanded this bit out here with the cemetery. We got another workshop, but the main thing is, we added this other, now this more artery over there. He's filling in, the snow's filling in these areas where the wood crates were. But we added this out here, and we've got another gathering post now that's able to handle these 2 resources. So that was day 3, and the plot will stinkin' with the freeze coming up. That'll be up next. But until then, thanks for watching. I hope you're